Hello, everybody. We have another special co-host tonight. Joe Philly Picker has agreed. Julian's off in the mountains fishing and hiking and putting pretty pictures on Instagram, and I don't know what else he's doing. Oh, I saw he filled his garage too. He was sourcing on top of having fun hiking. So I am joined by Derrick fundmentalz below me, Mike January House's Caddy Corner, and then Joe is next to me. So I'm going to let all three of these guys introduce themselves. Richard has already been dropping the links to their channels, and they're in the descriptions if you guys aren't just subscribed to them. So I'm going to go ahead and make Derrick big, let him introduce himself, and we will go in a circle, and then we will get to your questions. So here is Derrick.
Hello, everybody. My name is Derrick fundmentalz on YouTube and Instagram. My channel is mainly for live shows we do on Wednesday nights called Hump Day Hangout with me and my co-host Regina Michelle. And what I'm really focusing on is my second channel, which is called Lions Curb Refresh. So it's myself and my son. We have a pressure washing business and a curb painting business. So we're starting to do a lot of videos on that channel. And that's me in a whole.
Perfect. Here is Mike.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mike, the January House. I have two YouTube channels. The January House is where my pre-recorded content is, and then the January Auction House is where I do my auctions live every Sunday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and then sometimes I do a few during the week. I'm a full-time reseller here in just outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Central PA, and I want to say thanks to Kat for having me on again. Thanks.
Perfect. Here's Joe.
Hey, everybody. My name's Joe. I go by Philly Picker on Instagram and on YouTube. I am a part-time reseller based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Kat, thank you for having me on. I appreciate the promotion to co-host, and let's have a good show.
He got promoted.
Yeah. Good promotion, Joe.
Woo!
Congrats.
I'm going to highlight John again, more income. This is the third week in a row John is putting this. He said if we get 100 likes within 20 minutes after the show starts, he's been giving memberships to random people every week to my channel, which is super cool. He did 10 last week and 10 the week before. So More Income has a YouTube and an Instagram, so follow him. He's a great guy. He's been around my channel since the very, very beginning of it. So John, I think that's awesome. I appreciate you doing that. All right, Mr. Jeremy wants to know. He says it's October. He's telling us what day it is in case we don't know. It is October 25th. Halloween is this coming Monday. What are we doing for Hallows Eve?
Oh.
What are we doing for Halloween? Hallows Eve.
I don't do anything for Hallows Eve. I just do something for Halloween.
Nothing. I don't know. I guess making sure we have candy, and good candy, guys. Can you guys, if y'all give out candy, please give out some good candy.
Yeah. My Halloween is actually Thursday. It's weird. It's in Central Pennsylvania. Here we have trick or treat. Whatever. Halloween is still on Monday, obviously, but trick or treat is Thursday night. It's always the last Thursday in October. So Thursday night I'll be trick or treating with the kiddos, but Monday night, nothing.
Same here. Just trick or treating's regular Halloween down here in Philadelphia. That's a weird thing they do in Central PA.
We do a lot of weird things in Central PA.
That is true. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I need to look it up. I think ours is normally on like Saturday, like the Saturday before. And our houses here, because we're so rural or so far apart, they do trunk or treat. So at the community park, everybody goes and pulls in and they do candy out of their trunks. So we don't get trick or treaters here because it's a long distance between houses here. So we will be doing trunk or treat, and Dalton has chosen to be a shark this year. He wanted to be a shark, so he will be a shark for Halloween. And I think they can dress up for school too on Friday this week, so we'll be doing that too. Just Fabulously Thrifty says, do you use your home address for online selling or do you use a P.O. box?
I use my home address.
Yeah, I use my home address too. Yeah.
Same here.
I use a P.O. box just because of being on social media so much. I did use my home address when I was just reselling and not doing as much YouTube. But as my subscribers grew, I changed to a P.O. box just for a little added layer of security. But I would say if you're just reselling, then I would use the home address. I wouldn't get the added expense of a P.O. box.
Yeah.
Mr. Richard, thank you again for helping, my friend. I appreciate you. Richard wants to know, how would you handle an item that just sold and you realize you did not disclose something about the item?
That actually just happened to me. We automatically assume that someone would know something. I sold a toy from 2002 and assumed that the buyer would know that the battery wouldn't work from 2002. But here I go. Got the message that, hey, the battery doesn't work. Okay.
It's a 20-year-old battery.
All right.
So yeah, I gave them the option if they want to return it or not. I go ahead and do that. I'm not a discount person. I'd rather just have the item back.
Yeah, me too. I would just drop them a note. I do free returns. So I would just say, hey, I forgot to type in that this is whatever was wrong with it. I just noticed it or just thought about it or whatever. And if you want to keep it, great. If not, it's not a big deal. Free returns, just send it back.
Yeah, I had that happen recently too. It was a magazine that I had for a long time, and it was just getting pushed around every time it was in, I was getting other things out of the tote, and the cover actually ripped off of it when I went to go ship it. So I just took a picture of it. I sent a message, and the buyer was really cool about it. They said they understood. They were actually a reseller also, and they understood that it happened. And they took the item anyway. They said it was fine. Send it out. They wanted it for something else. They were going to cut the magazine up for something anyway. So the cover really didn't matter. So I got lucky on that one.
Yeah, and I've had it happen a couple times. One where I didn't notice damage. Two where I attempted to pull too many items at once and drop something and damage the item while I was pulling it. So I just send them a message typically with a picture of whatever I noticed or didn't disclose and tell them I can give them a discount for said issue, or I can just provide a refund and not send it and let them choose. It's about 50-50, and I don't have a ton of them, but some are like, no, thanks for letting me know, but I would rather not have it. And then some of them, like Joe said, some of them will go ahead and just take it depending on what the damage is. Miss Lisette, thank you for being here, ma'am.
Hi, Lisette.
Lisette, with all of her, Lisette's got lots of hearts and hands.
Yes.
She wants to know, what was your best sale today?
Today, I'm looking at, she said that right now. My best sale today, it was a record. It was a Holy Diver, D.O. Holy Diver record. And I bought it because I like the art on the front of it. I was actually going to keep it for myself and didn't even look it up. So I listed it and it sold it was only $49, but I'll take it.
I sold a 48-star flag today. That was pretty cool. It wasn't that big, but I got it at the flea market this past weekend, and I had picked up, I actually got 3 of them, but I picked up 2 first, and I was looking in the boxes for other stuff, and some random person said, oh, here's another flag, and just handed it to me. And I know we're all like resellers there, I think, you know what I mean? Like, it's 6:30 in the morning at the flea market. He just handed it to me and he's like, here's another flag. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. You know what I mean? And then that was the one I listed. So I thought that was just cool. I like old stuff like that. And thought it was a cool story, but I didn't sell for that much, 25 plus shipping, but still.
Yeah. I have a Philadelphia Phillies 2011 championship banner that I had forever, but since the Phillies are in the World Series, I guess people are looking for some Phillies items. So that was it. I sold it for $25, and I probably had this thing for 2 years, and it finally sold today. So if you have some Philly stuff, get it listed.
Yep.
Sure.
And I just, about an hour before we came on, I sold a Wizard of Oz snow globe for $110. I had it listed at $130. They offered me $100. I countered at $110, and they accepted. So that was, and I think I paid like $20, and I've had it like 4 or 5 months. Not a horrible long time, but pretty decent sale.
Nice.
Mr. Bradford wants to know, under what circumstances do you choose to use an outside shipper rather than the platform shipping? And I don't know if he means like pirate ship or like freight. I'm not sure exactly what he means.
I'm going to go with, maybe like a pirate ship or something like that. I'm going to assume that. Mine depends, with eBay, it's a little different. That's my main platform. And although you can put in flat rates shipping, eBay doesn't make it the easiest way unless you make rules on things like that. So generally, if I'm shipping something that I know I can fit in a box I can bag up, then I typically would do like a pirate ship on something like that. Maybe a 8-pound item in a box that I know I can bag up. I do pirate ship, then do it that way.
Yeah, I sell a lot on Macari, and if you sell there, their shipping is like terrible. They have one good thing about Macari is they have that FedEx SurePost thing. So like I think it's up to 3 pounds is only like $8, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of all my stuff is usually flat rate shipping. So I wish they just had an option for you to just add your own shipping cost and let you ship it, whatever, but they don't. And they don't have media mail shipping, which I ship a lot of like ephemera or media items or whatever.
Right.
So I'll use pirate ship on the Macari stuff usually. And then for eBay, I'll use, if it's like international under a pound, I use pirate ship simple export rate for shipping international on eBay, just because it's cheaper.
I use I mostly sell on eBay myself, and instead of going through eBay to ship everything, I usually use pirate ship because I have a credit card hooked up to pirate ship with some cashback rewards, and then I have another one that has it just expired. I was using for airline miles. So that's the only reason why I did it, is just to get that those extra points anyway. You're paying the shipping anyway. And sometimes, you can get some cheaper shipping on pirate ship too. So that's the only reason why I use pirate ship.
Yeah, and I had tried, but we have so many packages. I wasn't sure how it would work on pirate ship, and I didn't try it. For me, I actually typically stay on platform just because of ease of use, because of how many we're selling and shipping. I just find it easier to just print on whichever platform, and that includes Mercari, Posh, all the platforms. I typically stick with theirs. I have used like freight for large items, but I haven't picked up large items in years. Since gas prices went up, the freight is just kind of ridiculous on stuff. So I actually might try and find somebody close to me that has a booth or something to put my last few Ethan Allen pieces in to get them out of my way in here, because they're starting to be in the way. But other than that, even though I could save money doing the pirate ship, I typically just stay on platform. OBO Shop says, how would you handle a dispute where the buyer says they did not receive their order, but the tracking says it was delivered?
Well, I guess it depends on what platform it is. eBay makes that really simple for you. You win. That's basically it on eBay. You resupply that shipping number, and I always send them a message and explain to them, unfortunately, that's a fortunate situation on my end. It does show delivered. I will go ahead and forward this over to eBay and let them decide. And I have never once had eBay decide otherwise if it shows delivered.
Yeah, I mean, same thing like what Derrick said, but sometimes I get messages from people, and it's actually happened to me too, where it does show delivered on the tracking, but it doesn't come till like the next day. That's happened to me before, like personally with stuff.
Yeah.
So the first message I'll usually say is, hey, something along those lines. Like sometimes it shows it delivered, but it usually doesn't. It might not come till the next day. Wait till tomorrow, or maybe you want to check with your local post office or whatever, just to get that part out of the way. If they're still saying no, it didn't, it shows delivered and it didn't come, well, I mean, there's not much you can do. eBay covers you. You got the tracking, it shows delivered, you'll be okay.
Yeah, I kind of do the same thing. Just send an email saying, maybe wait 24 hours, it might show up tomorrow. If it doesn't show up and they still, I just tell them to reach out to eBay. On my end, it's showing delivered. I supplied the tracking number to eBay, and usually eBay steps in and takes care of it anyway. I don't know how they handle it on their end, but it doesn't affect us at all.
Yeah,
Right.
I think sometimes if it's a low amount, they will refund the buyer and let you keep the money. Sometimes, but one of the most frustrating things is that eBay makes you type it back in. Like you already have the tracking number there. So beware, you do have to put it back in. If you don't, they will not cover you. You have to go copy paste and put it back in, and then they will cover you.
It's so weird because they gave me the tracking number. You know what I mean? Like, I bought it from. I bought the shipment from them. Right? Yeah.
Like you see this, you see that tracking
Right,
number.
you see it in there. Right,
Yeah, but they want you to do that one extra step.
right.
Joe is helping me with the super chats tonight. So Joe, thank you. Katie was busy and Julian is off doing fun stuff. So Joe is helping me tonight.
Yeah, and hopefully I won't miss anything. So my first time here. So if I do, I apologize.
He's doing it. He's doing perfect.
Yeah.
Sunkiss wants to know, do any of us do retail arbitrage in addition to thrift shops and yard sales, or any other odd or different places that we source or find things?
Yes, I do retail arbitrage. I have a few stores that I always frequent. I know when their clearance is going to hit. I know when they do their markdowns. They actually call me, so I slide through there. And then just like Kat, I'm a huge online arbitrager. I do 80% of my buys online. That's how I get all my merchandise. So, yeah.
I'm the opposite. I do very little retail arbitrage. I will do some. I don't do any online. I'll go into stores and see stuff when they have their clearances, but it's very, very, very small part of my business.
Same here. It's a very small part of my business. If I'm in Walmart or Target or something like that, picking up something else, I'll browse through the clearance section, but I don't take special trips to go and hunt the clearance section, things like that. But if I'm there, sometimes I do find stuff. I did when everything was going on with, the lockdowns and everything. I did get lucky a few times when like everybody was buying the dumbbells, the weights, and I got lucky a few times and found some of that. But that's about the only thing that I've done, retail arbitrage, other than just stumbling upon it when I was there.
Yeah, and I don't do much retail arbitrage. I'm kind of like Joe. Like if I'm already in the store, which I will tell you might be like 3 times a year, I do not typically go to any stores at all. My husband does all the shopping. So it's fun. He made fun of me because he's like, oh, I think this is the second time this year you've been to the store. But I'll browse the clearance because I'm like a clearance nut. But we only have one Walmart in my town, so I would have to drive hours to go to like any other big box stores or anything. But the main bulk of mine is online estate auctions. And as far as other weird places, like when I first started, I used to sell plants. So I would go to Plant Nursery and buy stuff because here in Florida, we have tons of plants that everybody around the country wants and they couldn't get them. So that I think would be kind of a weird thing. So here is your dolphin, Miss Sunkiss, and thank you so much for super chat. Gino's cool dolphin that he made me. Gino was on last week if you missed it. Deborah wants to know, do you sell on Whatnot? If you do you find their site difficult to maneuver, or did you the first time you used it?
So I do sell on Whatnot. It's been a minute since I've done live shows, but it's funny, we were just talking about this. I used to do 4 shows a week, and then they became too much, so I backed off. Eventually I get back on there, and then I find it difficult. I think once you figure out where everything is at, after the first show, you should be fine. It's more so just finding your groove and finding your pace that works out best for you.
I do not sell on Whatnot. Sorry, I can't help you.
I don't sell on Whatnot either. I do buy on Whatnot. I collect sports cards, so I'm always looking for some sports cards on there. So I couldn't help you out on the selling part, on the selling side of it.
Yeah, so for me, the first time I did my sale was like 4 weeks ago now, and I had like 45 minutes of technical difficulties because my phone died. I didn't know to plug it in, and like my phone died, and then I couldn't get it signed in on another phone, and then it was trying to broadcast from my laptop. And so the first time was a bit of a like snafu. So I would say I wouldn't push your first show really hard just because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
But I agree with Derrick. Like after the first time, I think once you figure it out, like I figured out I needed to take my phone out of the case because that was causing it to overheat. Take my phone out of the case and plug it in. I have not had any issues since. And yeah, I think once you get a handle on it, I make sure I have somebody to help me with my sales, which makes me be able to go faster. So my daughter or my husband will help me with starting them, so I don't have to do that. But I think once you get used to it, it's pretty easy to figure out. It's just getting over that initial kind of a hump. Miss Eileen, I know she messaged me about this and said, I have 3 Kachinas in glass containers. My question is, should I take the Kachina out and sell it without the glass, since it's more convenient and it's better for shipping anyways?
I'm going to pass that. I have no idea what a Kachina is. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Here, hold on. I got a bunch of them right here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Definitely don't know what
I have a whole shelf full of them.
I mean, I would ask, do you get more money with the glass? Like if you take, or is it the same if you take the glass off and just ship the, if it's the same, I wouldn't ship it with the glass because you're right. You have just a better chance of it breaking. But if you can get more money with it, I mean, I would ship it with the glass. I wouldn't have, double box it, wrap it real good, maybe double box it if you have to, whatever. We'll be all right. Use UPS.
Yeah.
Do not use U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah, I would agree with Mike. It's kind of, I mean, I've sold things where I've taken them apart, taken them out of the case or whatever. I sold a couple, those commemorative footballs that they have for each teams, the full size football that come in like a plastic acrylic case. I just ship the football by itself. There are sometimes where you get a few extra dollars for it, but the size of the box, and then you got to worry about the plastic breaking. I just rather ship the football by itself. A few times I did it with posters, didn't ship it in the frame, just sold it. I bought them with the frame, but I was still able to make some money on it and just taking the poster, out of the frame and rolling it up and shipping it that way. So I don't know. I guess you would have to weigh the option. Like Mike said, if do you get that much more money with the glass case as opposed to just selling the figure by itself?
Yeah, and I haven't actually bought any Kachinas with the case, even though I buy a lot of them and I sell a lot of them. So if it were me, if the case wasn't specific to that actual Kachina, I would probably sell the Kachina by itself just because of how difficult it would be. But if you had like a nice, kind of engraved glass and wood case that had a plaque on it or something like that, then I think it would probably be worth it to do it with it. But most cases, I would say I would ship it without it. Joe, will you read this?
Silly question. But before you looked into List Perfectly, I I'm out of this question because I don't use lists perfectly already. Do you have established any other platforms? Would you recommend starting with just one other platform or more?
I would say this is once again I don't like telling people how to run their business, so I'm just going to give my opinion. I use List Perfectly when I wanted to do a heavy cross listing, do it fast and knock it out. I utilized their free time and took advantage of it. I have not used List Perfectly since then. Everyone, it's a little different for everyone. I would say you would need multiple platforms. I wouldn't even waste my time. It's just as simple if you're on 2 platforms to just go ahead and list it while you list it on their first platform. But that's just my opinion.
I'm going to answer your questions in reverse order. I would recommend starting with one platform. This is just my opinion. Like Derrick said, you do what you want to do for your business, but try to get the ins and outs of one platform before you jump, like eBay to Poshmark or whatever, to Mercari or whatever. I mean, they're not like that super difficult, each individual one, but learn one good one and then you can move on, in my opinion, to another platform. Okay. Do you have to be established on the other platforms? I mean, you don't have to be like, top seller in Mercari before you cross post, but like I said, you want to know the ins and outs. And then I don't use List Perfectly, so I use another. I know Kat has a code.
You can say it. No, I don't care. Yeah, just say what you use.
I use Vendoo, and there's only reason is because I started with Vendoo and I like the way it works, and I've never tried List Perfectly. I'm sure it's wonderful, probably better than Vendoo. But when I find something that works for me, I just kind of stick with it, and I've never had any issues, so I go that way. But yeah, I think in general, it's good to get as many eyeballs on your items as you can. So you do want to cross post to multiple platforms if you can do it. Any way you can do it.
I don't use cross listing software at all, but I don't do much cross listing. I did try it maybe about a year ago, and then I was getting so confused with forgetting to pull down some items on Facebook Marketplace and Mercari, and then I was getting into trouble with Facebook Marketplace because I was canceling orders that were. So, like I said, I'm just part-time, and this is just works for me. With I go heavy on the eBay, and I know it's not the smartest thing to have all your eggs in one basket like that if you get suspended or something like that, But right now, that's working for me. But the whole cross-listing thing, I would just do it manually and forget to take it down on some other sites. So.
Yeah, so I agree with Derrick. Like, it really depends on what you're trying to do. So, and same as Mike said, you need to be established on one, whether that's, Poshmark or eBay, whatever your main one is, that you definitely need to get a hold of first before you think about cross-posting. And the only time I tell people an exception is some people get limited to like 10 items on eBay. If you're one of those people, then I would start exploring the other platforms sooner.
Right.
But I'm almost like Mike. So I tried Vendoo, but they didn't do Facebook Marketplace at the time. So that's why I went to List Perfectly, and then it's worked for me, and I've never tried anything else. So I'm almost exactly like Mike is, but I went to List Perfectly because at the time I started with them, Vendoo didn't have Facebook Marketplace as an option. So that's how I ended up on List Perfectly. And same thing. I love it. It works well. I'm not trying to go shopping. It's a business tool. If it works for me, I'm staying with it. Right. But I would say, like, I think it was Derrick that said, like, if you're posting it out to, like, Mercari, it's just as easy to post it to Mercari, Poshmark, and Facebook as it is to just do it to one of them. So I think if you have a good hold on your main platform, it would not hurt, and you don't need to be established. You can actually open them as you're cross-posting, open an account. And Mike, does Vendoo have a catalog where you can pull it down from all the platforms with one click?
No.
Okay, so List Perfectly does.
Right.
So I make sure I put stuff in the list, because I was like Joe. I was like getting threatening emails because I was forgetting to pull stuff down. So now I put everything in a list perfectly catalog, and you just search it and tell it to end it, and it knows what platforms, and it'll go in them on all of the platforms that you have it on. So I like that feature, and I use it, and I haven't been getting screamed at for not. But you need to set up a routine. Like for me, every morning I get up, I end all of my sales from the list perfectly catalog. So if it's 10 items, whatever it is, that's the first thing I do every morning is go pull them off the other platforms. So I don't do it continuously through the day. I just do it once per day. But that way I don't get, all confused. But you would need to definitely set up some kind of system, either right when it sells, you go search the other platforms, or like me, I do it in the morning and figure it out. And I have cough drops in my mouth because my coughing started early tonight, if you're wondering. Mile High Mom said, what is something that another seller sells that you admire, but you would never want to sell yourself?
That's a great question. I'm going to say ephemera. I think it's cool, and I love seeing old stuff. And how people are so attracted to it, because I sell vintage toys. That's my heavy stuff. But I just never would sell it. It's just, for me, it's not, when I get a hold of it, it's different than admiring it. I don't like it. You go it's cool. I love the cool aspect of it. But me getting if I got a box of ephemera, I'm going to send it to somebody because it's just not my cup of tea.
Right. I love selling ephemera, Derrick. That's funny. Probably like glass, like fancy glassware. I like glassware a lot. And it's hard for me not to buy it when I see it. Because stuff that I think looks cool is not like the stuff that people want. I don't think it's not I don't know. It's not vintage. And I know there's a ton of videos out there, and a lot of people do very, very well with it. And I'll do a piece here and there, once in a while. I've bought some stuff at auction if it's cheap enough and try it. But the people that sell, that's their main sale item, that always amazes me. Plus the pieces I do sell, when I sell them, I hold my breath until it gets delivered and everything's okay. You know what I mean? Still to this day, I know I ship pretty well with the glass pieces, but I still I'm terrified. I hope it made it there. Once it's out of your hands, anything can happen, But fancy, cool glassware that people sell all the time. I admire that.
I would go the same thing with glassware. I followed Tim over the years.
Yeah, I was thinking of Tim too.
And I'm always fascinated by it. I met him a few times too, and just the knowledge that he has with the glassware is unbelievable. He knows things about glassware just by looking at it, and there's a ton of it out there. I see it all the time. I just don't know anything about it. But on the flip side of it, I don't want to be dealing with it either. I see the way that, the time that he puts into packing a lot of that, the amount of packing material that you need for all that, all that extra stuff, I would just rather not deal with. But whenever I do see it, I look at it, you know what I mean? But I just, never pull the trigger to pick it up and sell it.
Sorry,
I think mine's toys. I was telling Derrick, I bought a whole cart full of toys and I just don't want to deal with them. Just because I really don't have the knowledge in them. So it's almost like the same thing. I have right now floating out in the United States somewhere a $2,300 piece that I shipped out Monday to Utah. And I'm on edge. And the buyer wrote me and he's like, I'm kind of on edge about this being shipped. And I'm like, yeah, I am too. I didn't lie to him. I'm like, me too, because I planned on delivering the thing if it was within 12 hours. Well, Utah's about 40 hours of driving. So it had to go in a box. And I just hope $2,300 piece, 22 and change. That shipped out yesterday. So I'm like, oh, but yeah, for me, it's toys. I don't, now that might change as Dalton gets older and is interested in them. So I'm having to buy them and look at them and, I kind of learn more. That might change then. But as of right now, it's kind of toy. Hi, Regina. Thank you for coming.
Hi, sis.
And Mr. Leroy. Leroy wants to know, if you're selling toys in the Christmas season, do you get a lot of returns? And he's saying hello to everyone.
What is up, brother? That's my
What's
brother,
up,
right?
Leroy?
Leroy.
No, I honestly don't get many returns at all. Let me add that returns is part of the business. I think we at some point we all took it personal, like they were attacking my character. But if you really look at the total and what you sell, you're going to get random returns here and there. It's not that big of a deal. But no, Leroy, you don't get many.
Right, I would agree with Derrick. I think Christmas time is the same for me as any other time of the year. I get some here and there, not many. I do free returns, and it didn't increase my return rate tremendously at any point. And it's just part of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see a difference between the returns at Christmas time or any other time of the year. I do get returns. I actually got a return on a baseball bat that I know for 100% they rented the baseball bat for me, because when they bought it, they gave me a whole description of the team and the tournament they were going to and everything else like that. So after I got the return, about a week and a half later, after they had the bat, I got the return. I looked up everything they told me and whatever, and they were out in the first round of that team was out in the first round. And the very next day, they sent me a return for it was like an $80 bat or something. But they had to pay shipping, because he put down that he ordered it by mistake. He thought it was a softball bat. Clearly, in the message he sent me, he said my son's going to a baseball tournament. This is the bat that he needs. I actually took an offer on it. You know what I mean? And it was returned back to me after they rented it. So.
Yeah, and I don't do a bunch of toys like I just said, but I don't notice an increase in returns from Christmas from the rest of the year. Okay, so I will tell you guys if you didn't watch last week. So Miss Margaret has a defect that eBay said they were going to remove because they said it was their error. She's been calling and emailing. So she wants to know, how do I make them do what they said? So they've been telling her, yeah. So, I mean, we can go ahead and say what we're probably all thinking.
Yeah, you can't. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And luckily, I want to say I have a very good relationship with eBay. I used to have a love-hate relationship with them, but I have a very good relationship with them now. So generally, when something goes wrong, they normally fix it for me. Now, that's not for everybody. Most of the time, they're not going to fix it. I'm just telling you honest truth.
If I could make eBay do what I want them to do, I'd have them make buyers pay right away when they buy an item, or win an item at auction. I mean, not that your issue isn't important, Mark, what I mean? But if I'm asking eBay to do something, that's what I'm asking to do.
I would just stay on them, keep messaging them, keep, save the messages, send it to, send it in.
A real answer you could try calling them, right? Or there's that Facebook. eBay for business. Maybe try that way. I'll give you a real answer, Margaret. Try that Facebook group or whatever it is, Messenger. I don't know. eBay for business on Facebook, whatever. You can send them a message, tell them what happened, see if they'll help you out. I've had that happen for me easier than calling them. Sorry, Joe, to jump on you there, but.
Yeah, recommend the same thing, is just reach out to eBay for business. It is funny because sometimes, even if you're calling, you might call back. I've done it before where I've called and got somebody different, or I sent a message and got somebody different and got a completely different answer with, somebody that's having a great day, a good day, as opposed to somebody that was having a bad day and the problem was taken care of. So I would just keep trying. Maybe, you'll get lucky and get that person that's having a good day and wants to help you out. And,
Yeah, I would say that, or I would say forget it, and you can't make them do what you want them to do. And I would say, unless that one defect is putting you below standard, I would let it go. Because it sounds like you're frustrated with it. You're spending a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. It's obviously upsetting you. if it was not going to affect my rating, I would let it go and just say, forget this. I've spent enough time on it, and I would be done with it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the guys have had this. I have had this happen. Veronica says, I've had an item returned as unclaimed that I sent to the buyer. They purchased it 6 months ago. They never complained they didn't get it, and I can't message them due to the time of how long ago the sale was. What would you do?
I have had that happen before. And I did my due diligence. I reached out to eBay and found out what they can do. Luckily, they were able to help me in this particular situation because of the communication, not able to get in contact with the buyer. But most of the time, you're not going to get any luck out of that. Just keep it real. You're just going to have to eat that a lot of times.
Maybe it's me. I just don't understand why can't you message? If this is eBay we're talking, you can send a seller or a buyer only if they have a store.
Well, it only shows the past 90 days, so 90 it only shows the sales for 3 months.
So if they don't have a store with an item, you can't message them because there's nowhere to do. Okay, I see. Thank you for that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do there in that situation. That's crazy. Yeah. But they never complain and you got it back. I don't know. You know, what's interesting now is that when you sell an item on eBay and you're on your app, they give you the buyer's phone number now. Did you see that under the So you could now if it happens, you could probably send them a text maybe if you wanted to, or send them a, whatever. Maybe send them a letter, see if they still want it.
Yeah, I only had that happen one time with well, it happened twice, but in the same week, but when mail was all screwed up in 2020, things weren't getting delivered around Christmas time and all that. And then all of a sudden, 3-4 months later, I had these 2 packages show up at the house and, returned to me. And, I contacted eBay. eBay pretty much told me to keep the item. I ended up relisting them and I sold them again. I don't think eBay took the money from me, and I never heard anything from the buyer. So,
yeah, and that's basically what happened in my situation too. I ended up just relisting it. I don't know if it's people are buying so much they don't notice that this one thing doesn't come, or I don't know. But that very likely could be the case. So in that situation, I would just relist it. You aren't doing anything wrong. They haven't reached out to you. If they do, you could, give them a refund minus shipping. But most likely if they haven't yet, they probably are not going to. So I would just relist it. Rachel wants to know, how do you decide the cents in your price, like $15.75 versus $15.95? Is there a psychological reason behind your decision?
That's hilarious. That is so hilarious because every listing that I put up, it ends in 01. To me, it makes the listing stand out. And I was actually going to change my name to Mr. 01 because you pumping gas and you want to get it at $70.
Yeah.
And it goes to 701. That's I just put it at 01. I found it hilarious. So I do every single listing at 01.
Yeah, I don't know. I always do 99. It's funny. Sometimes I'll do 95 every once in a while. I don't know why. It's just whatever I type in. I think there is a psychological thing if you're going to sell it for $20. But if somebody sees a 20 versus if they see $19.99, it doesn't seem like $20. I think to the buyer, there's a psychological thing. So maybe that's why I do it as a seller, to try to list the price at $19.99 or $19.95. I
use 98.
We all use different. Great. That's a great question.
A lot of people. I think a lot. I don't know what the percentage is, but we can probably go look at eBay. I think a lot of them end in 99. So I think that's the reason why I use 98. That maybe it will stand out.
Joe's getting those 1 centers out.
I don't know, but it will make it different. If someone does search it from less, least.
You would be a penny less.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to do 94 now, Joe, just to
higher up. But Derrick
So
would be
I'm in the 99 club. I do 99 cents, but I constantly run a 35% off sale. So mine end up like all whacked out and 58, 42. I used to, just for the hell of it, when I sent offers, I would send it ending in whatever minute it was on the hour. So like it's 8:46 now. So I would send them an offer of 9:46, like whatever minute it was past the hour, just for, shits and giggles. But now I do 99 and then I just have my percents that I send. So mine end up like all whacked out. People ask me like, how do you get that? It's because I'm sending them like 15% off or 20 or whatever on my offers. So they just end up, my 99 kind of goes out the window. And I had someone though once say to do it even for the expensive items. So like if you have a $2,000 item, you wouldn't want to do $19.99 because those buyers are thinking more like high scale, and that you would want to do 2,000. So I mean, there's some stuff out there about, but mine end up like all over the place, and my 99 really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Miss Deborah wants to know, what is the best platform to sell branded and unbranded costume jewelry?
I can't really answer that. I don't sell jewelry, so I'm gonna pass it around to when Kat gets it.
Yeah, right. Well, I wouldn't know what's better or the best platform. I sell jewelry here and there. I'm learning it. The signed, I think, is what she means by branded, right? Signed jewelry or unsigned.
Yeah, like either signed or unsigned. Yeah.
But I wouldn't know the best one either. I put it on all the platforms just so I can sell it.
Yeah, I don't do too much jewelry. I couldn't help you out. If I do have a jewelry question, I usually send somebody a question on the eBay. I mean, on the Instagram, somebody that I follow, and then usually the jewelry that I pick up ends up not being worth anything anyway.
So for me, the best platform has been Whatnot. And I do list my jewelry on all of them. I list them on eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark. And the one that sold the most before I started doing Whatnot was eBay. But I promote them very, very heavy. And when I say that, I mean 12 to 15% because jewelry is very, very saturated on eBay. So you better be ready to pay up to get your jewelry items seen on eBay. Like I said, I'm doing very, very well with my jewelry on Whatnot, but jewelry, I think on almost every platform is saturated. So your branded and your signed stuff that people are looking for are going to obviously probably do a little better. Unbranded, you better be keywording it and describing it as best you can. Jewelry is not one of the easiest categories to sell in. Personally, I like it because I can find big lots for cheap. So I'm not much in, so I'm okay paying the extra money promoting it. But now I'm not listing jewelry anywhere. All my jewelry's going to Whatnot now. So Mark, you're really late, buddy, and you told on yourself.
Yeah, right? Could have stuck in.
I know, you could have just like slid. He told me he was gonna be late. Glad you're here. Thank you for the super chat. You told on yourself, my friend. Here's your dolphin. And I'll go ahead and put this out there. Mark and myself, OG and Z, I don't know if Mark wants me to put this out there, but we will be at Renninger's in Mount Dora the third weekend of November. Mark went with me last year. We met there because he lives close to it. It's an antique fair. And George, the antique nomad, always has a booth there. So if you guys want to do some kind of meetup or find me, George's booth is my home base. So if you stay at George's booth, I will be there. And that's a great show. It's in Mount Dora, close to Apopka, not too far from Orlando. And it's like 40 acres of antique dealers. It's absolutely amazing. They do it 3 times a year, and it's great. So now I just told on where me and Mark will be the third weekend in November. Bonnie, if you're asking me, do I have to isolate? I am not contagious. I just have this annoying cough that's driving me bonkers. I haven't had a fever in days. So I think it's more like laryngitis, irritated, ticked off, not contagious, but I isolate anyways. Most people that know me know I'm kind of a hermit and I don't like to go anywhere anyway. So it's rare I go anywhere.
And I have a question for you. I have a question for you,
Yes.
Kat. Since you were eating a cough drop, what's your cough drop flavor of choice? Yes, okay.
The one that's like candy that's really not a cough drop, you know, that you always wanted in like middle and high school. It was like, no, but it's cough drops. It's not candy, teacher. Yeah. So I don't know how much they really help, but I don't know the answer to this question. Does anybody know about vintage Mad magazines?
Yes, they
or
are.
In the chat.
Yeah. Certain ones. It depends on what's on the cover and what it's about, or if it has a inside, if it has a story that kind of resonates to now. It just really all depends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say especially it depends on what you're buying them for, how much, how many you're getting, the condition also. Yeah, you can sell them. Check the comps. Some of them sell pretty well.
Yeah, I know a friend of mine, Big Thrift Philly. He picked up a huge lot of it. I think he got it. He got it at a very low price, and some of he sorted them out, and some individual ones were worth some money, and then he lotted a few together, like by the year and the month or whatever that they came out. Like did a whole year set. I think he did pretty well with them after all that. But you got to do a little bit of research on it. I couldn't tell you which ones are worth more than others.
Yeah. All right. It's time for the mods to now be sending super chats. See, Mark, now you told on yourself. He said you're supposed to pay me $10 for being late, not $5. Thank you, Richard. Here's your dolphin. Thank you, Richard. Ping, I am glad to bring these men to you, and I am sure they all appreciate you subscribing and checking them out.
Thank you.
For sure. Yeah. They are all great guys. Reigning Retro, North Carolina. If you are going to add a new category of things to sell that you don't currently sell, what would you pick?
Oh, man.
That's a good question. What is that?
That is a good question. I would say clothing. I don't sell many clothes at all. I think I dabble in it a little bit, but I feel like if I spent a little bit more time, because it's so rarely available, that I can make a pretty good amount of money.
Yeah, I would say, probably on that, like shoes, like, I sell some sneakers, but it has to be like stuff if it's Nike and it's not like Jordans, then I have no ideas. Or like Joe always sells these Horcus shoes, and I don't know about Horcus, but I know they sell for good money. So I would say shoes, but like I don't want to sell them because the time it takes to prep shoes is a pain. I think is a pain. But anyway, if I could find good clean shoes, I would get into shoes.
Oh man,
Horcus.
He's talking about Hocus. I don't know. It's a tough question. I'm always fascinated by like old stamps, but I don't know if I would take the time to know, because there's some auctions that I go to and things like that. The flea market, there's always people selling those books of stamps. I know there's probably some good ones in there, but every time I look at it, I say to myself, the time that it's going to take for me to actually, go through them, or, is it worth my time? And I never pulled the trigger on that either. So I would have to, I would say stamps would probably be the best, what I would like to do.
Yeah, I sell some art, but I would like to sell more art, but that gets into a whole like giant knowledge base. You would have to learn a ton. So I look and learn a little bit, and I do sell some, but I don't really have any category I don't touch. I sell everything, if you know me. So there's nothing really that I'm not doing already. The thrifting librarian, how much do you think shipping increases are cutting into your sales?
None. I think people are so accustomed to the shipping rates increasing during the holiday time that I feel like it's not even affecting it at all.
Yeah, for me, I do a lot of best offer for my items, and I think people will deduct shipping a lot of times on best offer. Like if you're selling it for like, I don't know, $20 with $5 shipping, right? You know what I mean? They'll ask for a $15. They'll offer you $15
Yeah.
to take that $5 off. So I think if, for me at least, it affects it a little bit, but not that much as you would think. I think people know everything's more expensive now, right? Everything, gas and everything else, right? And shipping's just one of those things that's just more expensive.
Yeah, I usually do flat rate shipping on a lot of it. Like I said, I saw a lot of sneakers and shoes, and I kind of average it all out. You know what I mean? So when the increases just came, I just bumped up my flat rate shipping, up, $1 or whatever. And I know it didn't go up $1 across the board. So sometimes I still, if I'm shipping out to the West Coast, I'll lose $1 or $2 on, a 2-pound pair of sneakers that I'm shipping out that way. But if I'm shipping a 2-pound pair of sneakers to New York, I'm going to make a couple dollars on that shipping. So I think it all, balances out at the end. But I did recently bump up my flat rate shipping that I do, on a lot of it.
Me too.
Yeah, and I do calculated, and I have seen an increase in sales, not a decrease. So I wouldn't be taking the hit the buyers would, but I agree. I think the shipping prices have been going up during the holidays for years now. So I think people are kind of used to that. Road Tripper Thrifter Flipper is saying eBay gave a refund to a buyer of mine, but they haven't returned the bracelet. So what would you do?
I would say double check the shipping time that they actually have to ship it. It is holiday season, so they extended out the shipping time that people have to ship these items out. I'm over exaggerating, but sometimes, they give them like a month to ship these items out, but double check that. And if they haven't sent it and it's past the date, just reach out to eBay. They're normally pretty good at taking care of you in that sense.
Yeah, I think you're being generous with that month there, Derek. I think they have like 45 business days.
They had it at like 60 days at one point with COVID. I was like, what in the heck?
I would say you have to keep on top of that. But it's probably just still either in transit or if you don't get it back, then call eBay. They should give you your money.
Yeah. I don't think I ever had a return where eBay actually gave the money back before it was actually returned. So I don't know if it was just a different situation. I mean, a Tiffany bracelet, I'm assuming it's a lot of money. So I don't know the circumstances of why eBay would give that money back before the item was actually returned, because they track it back too. Because as soon as it's scanned delivered, your return scanned delivered back to the seller, usually eBay will send you a message, that it's delivered, and then you go in there and then you send them the money back. So I don't know if there was just some different circumstances on that, or the whole story. So I don't know. I would reach out to eBay.
They shouldn't have unless it showed delivered. So I would check your return shipping, and maybe this is a case of where it was scanned delivered to you. You didn't get it, and so eBay forced the refund on you is the only situation I could think of. So I would go track that for sure. And I would contact them, because they should not be refunding until you have the item back in your hand.
Or maybe eBay just put that money on hold. You know how they deduct that, put that amount on hold.
Yeah, they will hold it. That's a good point, Joe. So the buyer might not have gotten it. It might just be the funds are held.
Right.
And then if you don't ship it back, you'll get your money back. That's a good point, Joe. I bet that's what it is. Sunkissed is super chatting for Kevin. Kevin says he's better looking than y'all. Talking trash. So Sunkissed wanted to super chat to bring it to our attention that Kevin's in the chat trash talking and wants to know what your responses are to him.
I would say Kevin is better looking than me at least. I'll say this just on top of that. Usually, better looking guys like Kevin that can't grow facial hair. We'll say that, right? You know what I mean? They'll come out and trash talk us guys. We have to grow beards to look good. So,
yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on what Mike said. Yeah, I agree. Kevin is better looking.
We should have Kevin do no shave November. See if Kevin can grow a beard, and we can probably get him up
how much he could grow. I think that
500.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, and I think everybody should reach out to Kevin on Instagram, send him a message, remind him every day of November not to shave.
Right, not to shave. Yep.
So, and then we'll check back in on his videos.
Right around Thanksgiving. Yeah, we'll check his videos and we'll check it around Thanksgiving, see where it's at.
I think it's a challenge. Does he accept it, or did he?
Yeah.
did he leave?
Joe, you got to watch the bottom of the chat. The bottom of the chat's you.
Oh.
Yeah, Kevin, don't do that, man. Look, let me just throw it out there, Kevin. You're gonna be out there and you're gonna be looking like Fire Marshal Bill with the patches of hair. Don't do that.
But see, he doesn't need a beard because he's good looking. Well, he should try to grow it.
Let these men have their beard, man. Just let it go.
Okay, let me give Sunkiss this before. Hold on, I'm gonna come back to it. Let me give Sunkiss this in lieu of Kevin's trash talking. Kevin is on the Trash to Cash podcast, if you do not know, along with Dave, NC Picker, and Carrie American Arbitrage. So maybe he's like showing you what they do in their Trash to Cash podcast in my chat. So go check out Trash to Cash. Here's your dolphin, Sunkiss. Carissa's sending it saying Derrick's on point with his advice.
Hey, that's my homie right there, Carissa. I love Carissa.
Carissa, thank you. Yes, all of you guys are great. Again, their links are in the description and in the chat. Thanks to Richard. So if you have not checked them out, definitely go check these guys out. And Derrick and Regina have a good show. It's Wednesdays, right, Derrick?
Yep, and we're gonna have Kat on it.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I was just on the Let's Do Lunch podcast. I was just on Let's Do Lunch podcast that came out on Friday with the ladies. That was fun. All right, Carissa, here's your dolphin. Deborah has a question for you, Mike. Is that a picture of Elvis on a motorcycle behind you?
No, it's Marlon Brando. It's Marlon Brando in the Wild One. It's an old poster that I just got in a storage locker. I just hung it up there. It's not Elvis.
Sonny says he'll accept all of your reject candy and he will eat it. So send it to Sonny.
Okay.
Sonny has a terrible palate.
Okay. Miss Bonnie says she's trying her question again. Her hang up on getting things listed is boxing them. So she sells various vintage and collectible items. So where did the rest of this question go? Hold on, Miss Bonnie, I'm looking. I'm thinking she's saying her hang up is boxing. So I think we should address, do you need to box these different items before you list them? And if you don't, how do you go about getting the correct weight?
Oh, it's a weight.
Yeah. I'm right off what Kat said. If it's something unique and weird, oddly shaped, I would definitely recommend boxing it before once you list it. Well, box it and then get it weighed out. Make sure you have that right box available. Because the last thing you want is to sell that item and then be looking for that box. It's just so frustrating to do that. Or one of my favorite things to do, if it's worth that much, or you can build it into the price, is take that beautiful thing right on over to FedEx, let them box it up for you. You'll be golden.
Yeah, I would say the same as Derrick. Although I never did the UPS or FedEx boxing option for an item. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, definitely have the box before you ship it if it's a weird shape or bulky type of thing. Because nothing worse than like last minute, and like I do 1 day handling, and if it sells at like 9 o'clock at night, you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to ship it out the next day. And if I got stuff going on, like if I don't have a box, that's a problem. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would say those things. Just try. Yeah, if you're gonna do calculated, you want to make sure you weigh it before you put those dimensions and stuff and box it before you put those dimensions in there. I do a lot of flat rate shipping, but I don't do like too many weird or bulky items, like weird shaped or bulky items. So I kind of know flat rate, like what the price of that, but that's just me.
Yeah, I would say if it's an odd shaped item or whatever, try to find the box first. You don't want to be out there searching for a box, especially if you're under the deadline of having to ship it out the next day or whatever your handling time is. I don't do too many odd shaped items like that either, and I never did the UPS or the FedEx, that they pack it. So, but I definitely I should use this advice sometimes too, is weigh some of those, because there are sometimes with like work boots, I think they're like 3 pounds, and then when I weigh like a pair of Doc Martens, they're like 5 or 6 pounds, and right. I do flat rate shipping, so I am completely I end up losing money. So there are times where you should weigh your items if you're going to do the put the price on shipping right away. So yeah, I would definitely, if it's an oddly shaped item, find a box first, and then so it takes some stress off of it when it does sell.
So I'm going to go against what all of these gentlemen have said, which is why I like having my panel. This is to give you our opinions. I don't worry about having the box because I can make any box you want me to make out of boxes I have here. I don't think you need to box item up, and I think a lot of new resellers get hung up on that, but make sure you have the box. So if it's under 12 by 12 by 12, it doesn't matter the box size. It's going to cost the same. It's not oversized. So you can set a 12 by 12 by 12 box, some bubble wrap, and your item on the scale. And then 12 by 12 by 12 box, this is the weight. If I tried to box up 6,500 items, I would need about 5 more sheds. It just isn't possible. And if you are boxing up before, what's going to happen when somebody says, hey, can you show me a picture of that up closer? You're going to have to go unbox it. So I do think you need to know your weight, but set the item, the box, and some packing materials on the scale to get your weight. And once you're doing it more, you're going to know. I'm like Joe, though. I laughed because, and I held up the 5 because I had some boots that I put at 3 pounds that were 5 that I shipped out a few days ago. But I think once you're more experienced, like I'll make money on some, not on purpose. I'm not overcharging, and then others I lose money on. So it kind of evens out, but unless it's, I don't even do it if it's crazy. I shipped out a 20-inch Kappa Diamante piece on Monday, and I had no heads up. But I couldn't mute myself that time. But I keep all of my Amazon boxes. So I have tons of different sizes of boxes. So I think about it a little bit, but I wouldn't worry about it. And it sounds like you're worrying about it, and that's what's slowing you up on listing. So that's the main reason I'm saying that. Is you can figure it out when you need to pack it. Just make sure you got the weight right. That's what I'm trying to say. But that makes sense. I just wing it. That's the basic. Look, I'm getting all these super chats for you guys to go at it, and I'm okay with that. Crochet wants to know, Mike, will you cut your beard if Kevin grows one?
I mean, Kevin would have to grow a beard, this kind of beard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do we really think Kevin's going to grow this kind of beard?
I'll cut mine if Kevin grows all of November.
But it has to look like theirs.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Kevin has it in him.
That's the point, Joe.
But I'm saying if he tries to grow it, I'll cut my beard if he doesn't shave in November.
I'll cut Joe's beard. I'll cut Joe's beard if Kevin grows his beard in November.
Here's your dolphin. This is funny. What's next? Lisette. Thank you for a good show. Yes. I'm trying to feel better soon, but Dalton keeps going to school, and with school comes bugs I'm learning, and you know. and she's saying to remember to head over to Derrick's second channel, Lions Curb Refresh. Derrick, have you seen the curb machines that make the curbs?
Yes, I have.
Those are amazing.
They are.
I used to, so before I was a nurse and before I took pictures for a living for 7 years, I ran a multi-million-dollar plant nursery, and we did landscaping. And I thought those curb machines were like the coolest things I had ever seen. Those are like so cool.
Technology.
I wish I had one. They are really, really cool.
You have curbs all around your house.
Yeah, I would almost buy one just to do what I wanted here, and then I could resell it. All right, here you go, Miss Lisette. And then I think I see a new member. Miss Joanne DeFelici. Oh, I like that name. I probably mispronounced it, but I like it. Here, look, we haven't seen this dolphin in a while. Here we go. Here's your dolphin.
Welcome to the flipping family.
Oh, now it jumped me. Hold on. I hate when it does that. I know where I was at. Going back. I was at a whole 809, so you guys want to know where I'm at in the chat. Not very far. Where did it go? Scrolling. Sometimes it like randomly will scroll me to whatever the other person clicked on, which is what it just did. Oh, wait. No, I wasn't there because... Oh, wait. Maybe I was. Hold on. I'm finding it. I know the question. Where did it go? Hold on. I guess I could just tell you. The question was, what are the 3 most used items? I found it. What are the 3 essential items that you use most often for your business?
That could go so many different ways. The most essential items I use for my business. My scale, number 1. Man, that's one of those questions, right? My tape gun, I guess.
Yeah, you need one.
And my eBay app. Scanning items.
I would say my label printer for sure, because I used to do it for a long time without the thermal printer. Holy, I don't even know. I can't even imagine not doing it that way now. Thermal printer number 1. Yeah, you're right. The straight knife or whatever, you know what I mean? The box cutter knife, blade, whatever. I use that all the time. I don't know, bubble wrap.
I would have to go thermal printer because it was a game changer when I finally bought one. I mean, I can't believe I did it without it. I'd say that. My phone.
Yeah.
And I guess tape. I get without tape in the boxes. I mean, off the top of my head, that's my 3.
Yeah, I would agree with the thermal printer. I would agree with the phone, because having a good phone, you can take pictures and essentially run your business off of your phone. And what else? Yeah, probably like shipping supplies you have to make it work. Minnie Johnson says, how long do you keep an item listed if it doesn't sell over a while? I'm just getting started and I realize I'm pretty impatient to make money.
Once again, I think it depends on the size of your store. I think smaller stores have the opportunity to I'm just going strictly eBay, to end that item and sell similar way more often than larger stores. Me personally, my rule of thumb is 2 months. Every at 60 days, I go through and I end and relist 100 at a time. And that way, once I get to the end of the month, everything will be relisted. But that's just me. That's what works for me.
Yeah, I'm more the opposite. I'll list it and just forget about it. You know what I mean? But I don't have a lot of bigger items. I mean, I do have some, but not so many. So everything, and I have a decent amount of storage. So I mean, all those things you have to take into consideration. How big is the item? How much storage do you have? I mean, if you're pretty impatient to make money, there's ways to solve that, right? You know, you can lower the price and make some money, I'm sure, right? And get rid of everything in a month, probably. You know what I mean? Just how much money do you want to make? But I pretty much list and forget about it. I'll tweak prices here and there, but it all depends on what you bought, how much you spent on it too, right? I mean, if you didn't buy it for, I have stuff I still have from storage locker days when I was buying storage lockers. I mean, I have like pennies into it, you know what I mean? And I'm in no hurry. If it sells today, great. If it sells 6 months or a year from now, great.
I would say it all depends on the storage space that you have. If you're always buying, and you're running out of room, some of the older items, could be redonated and just get rid of. I do that with my bigger items. Some of the items that I fit in my totes, that's how I, keep my inventory in numbered and lettered totes. But there are some items that I have physically on the garage shelf. And if they're sitting there and I look at them every single day, and, before I get them out of my store, I try to get rid of them by dropping the price. But sometimes, it'll be a year, and if it doesn't sell and I reduce the price, it's just not a good item. I've made tons of bad purchases on items that just didn't have a good sell-through rate, when I started and things like that. So, if I'm looking at it every day, like it's not in a tote, I tend to, pay it more attention and then finally reduce it. And then if not, I just get rid of it. I usually end up redonating it.
Yeah, so I'm going to echo some of what Derrick said earlier. Like, everybody's business is different, so each of us has a different amount of storage space. I have 3 sheds that are pretty good size. So I am like Mike. I will let it sit there, and I'm the same way. I buy lots that are in the profit fast in a month. So most of my inventory sitting is already like, it's free to me at this point, and whenever it sells, it's profit, and I have the room. So I would also say, if you're not in a really, really good, rich sourcing area, being impatient and reselling is not going to be a very good thing for you, because it doesn't happen overnight. Like my store, it took me 3 years to build. And I think a lot of people look and see, like, those of us that are making videos and expect, like, you start listing and you're going to have all these sales and money rolling in. And that's just not the case. It takes years and years to build an established reselling business, unless, like, my first show co-host, and probably not a lot of people will remember him, Chris, he has like 400 sold and 100 listed. That man's sell-through rate blows anybody I've seen out of the water, because he is so picky when he sources. So if you're really picky and say, I'm only going to buy stuff that there's more sold than there is listed, then you can be impatient because you'll buy stuff that flips fast. But the reality for me where I live is I don't find that much of that stuff. That's just reality. So I would say be very cautious being impatient in it, because it takes time to build an established reselling business. Vintage Thrifter MCM Sifter says, Kat, I reached out to you recently and you responded so quickly. Thank you. What was your first step in reaching out to other sellers that help build your seller community? So it would be exactly what you're doing right now. I was in every single live reseller chat that I knew about, probably over 40 hours a week when I first started my channel. Like, people were like, you're everywhere. I think I annoyed them because no matter what reseller chat they went in, I was there. And the vintage community has its own, like, they have their own channels that are pretty kind of separate from ours. Sometimes they cross over. Like, I was on with Vintage Junker Thrifter Hunter on her live show last Monday night. So some of the channels do cross, but there's a whole just vintage community, which according to your name is what I'm thinking you might, kind of mesh a little more in. And I would start going in those lives. Go in those lives. They have their Monday night live. Derrick and Regina have the Wednesday night live. Any of the panel chats like this, go in, chat, where people see your name over and over. And like we recognize when we're seeing someone, and the people in the chat recognize too. Like Richard's always in there, Mark's always in there, John, More Income, just a few people that are always in my chat. So you'll get to know the other people in the chat just by hanging out in the chat, and then kind of build your own. Instagram's a great tool too. I started my Instagram when I started my YouTube. That's another good one. What do you like the rest? I know she's asking me, but like, what would you guys recommend, like, to build your own seller, like your own seller community?
I just like that. Just get involved. Look, I'm going to say it, and I don't know if a lot of other people say it. The reseller community is very cliquish, just like anything in life. And it's okay. It's okay to find a nice group of people that you mesh with. That is perfectly fine. You can hop in different, and to be able to figure that out, you got to hop in different chats. You got to hop in different vibes, and you got to go to auctions or live auctions. You figure out what you like. And then once you do that, just be involved with it. Don't be scared. Just jump out there, get into it.
Yeah, I would say this. I would say the same thing as both Kat and Derrick there. Get it, if you're in lives, just interact. There's a lot of good channels out here, and there's a lot of good information out here. And I remember one of my first people I reached out to was Dan Art Vanderlei, who we used to do a show with Joe and I.
I like Dan.
Yeah, I like Dan too. And I didn't know much. I would just watch his channel, and he was talking about international shipping one day, and I just sent him a message. And then I was like, hey, can I just call you with this question? And he was like, I guess so. Like, and Dan, sure. Like, he's very he's like kind of introverted, you know what I mean? But he's like super nice. He's not going to say no, you know what I mean? So I was like, hey, so I call him up and I'm just yelling. But yeah, I would just say get involved and ask questions. And, this kind of forum is great, the live chats. And yeah, you'll find your people.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on them too. Also Instagram. I didn't have Instagram before I started YouTube, and I've reached out to so many people through Instagram and met so many people. It's a good tool. That's actually how I met Mike. I think Mike put a post up on trying to identify like a action figure because he sells a lot of toys or something like that. And I responded to him, and that's how we became friends. And I pretty much talk to Mike every day. So it's Instagram's a good thing, but just being involved in different chats. There's tons of these live shows all the time, and just get to know different people is a good thing.
Are you coming to be on live? She's coming to be on live, not on purpose. This is my 20-year-old that you never see.
It's like pussing, and I cleaned it out like 2 hours ago. Like really bad, and it's been doing this all day.
Yeah, that looks nasty.
Yeah.
Just go put peroxide on it.
I have been. It hasn't been doing anything, and I did rubbing alcohol twice today.
Put peroxide on it, and then put the antibiotic ointment on it. She went to Tractor Supply, and the cashier ripped her nail off with the scanning gun the other day. So that's the never seen child, my 20-year-old. Scott, Cha-Ching King. What was the most exciting item you have got home with only to discover it was damaged, stained, or ruined?
I'll say I ruined it. I guess I bought a Alf. I grew up with Alf, and
I love watching it.
Yeah, that was great.
And I found a talking Alf, and normally the talk boxes don't work on the Alf. So it was actually working. You pull the string, and it was working. And I got home and was so excited about it. I wanted to show the kids. I was in the garage, and I pulled the string. Guess what? Whole damn string came out. So I was disgusted.
Right.
I was disgusted. I was sick. I was sick for like a couple of hours. I was so mad. I ended up selling it. I was going to keep it. I was going to be a personal, but I ended up selling it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have I've seem to find things that I like clothing is always, I don't know how I miss it when I'm out there looking at it, but like every, I don't know, X amount of clothes, like 10 piece of clothes, the 10th piece, I'll get it home and I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to list this shirt. And then I turn it over. I'm like, how did I miss this huge stain on the back here? Like, was I not even looking at it? Like, it's clearly there. I don't know if I have like an example of like something I'm like, cause I'm always excited. I don't sell a lot of clothes. So, but when I find like vintage stuff or like single stitch stuff or whatever, I'm like, yes, I'm going to bring that home. I bought it for like $2 at the thrift store. I'm going to go home, list it. And I turn it over. I'm like, oh man, this thing, I can't, how can I sell this? I mean, I could still try, but you got to disclose it. So I don't know if I have a specific item in mind. I find a lot of stuff with stains apparently when I get home.
Yeah, I would say clothing. One item in particular was it was a Mitchell and Ness Reggie White Eagles jersey in color Kelly green. It was new with the tags. I saw it at the flea market. It was hanging up. The guy had it against his car, with a hanger. And I usually don't buy from him because his prices are kind of, eBay prices or whatever. And then when he gave me the price on it, I should have known something was up. I looked at this thing up and down. Didn't see anything, got it home, was excited to list. It's like $150 jersey. I paid $30 for it. I was so excited to list it. And it looked like somebody must have took like the oil dipstick out of like his car and used it as it had an oil
to wipe it off.
Yeah, it had an oil stain on it diagonally from, I don't know how I missed it. That was very disappointing, but I actually ended up selling it. I actually sold it for $50, got my money back, after fees and all that. So I didn't lose money. I just didn't make as much money as I thought I was going to make.
That worked. For me, I think most of it I picked up, but my mom actually brought over a lamp with a figurine inside. And I couldn't see the figurine, and I took a picture, and it was like a $4,000 figurine, but I took it out and it was cracked and like 30, like the thing was in like 40 pieces. I don't know how it was still standing up. I have it listed. I have it listed for like $200 because it's like really, really rare. I only saw like 5 sold in 10 years. But I was like, man, my mom brings me this thing that, like, if it wouldn't have been shattered, but you couldn't tell just looking at it. I had to, I got it out and I was like, oh, man. So I'm hoping somebody else will be okay with the, far away looking okay. All right, let me give you your dolphin, Scott. And then I saw somebody else behind you. Thank you, sir. Dun, 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 dun. Larry! Yay for Larry. Larry says, great group tonight. Joe, Mike, and Derrick are all awesome people that I met from chats. And as well as these chats too, the reseller events, I met Derrick at Prison to Profit convention. Met Larry. I met Larry at the reseller rally. So watch for some of the events going on, and go in person, and then you get to meet people, and you might, mesh with people that you didn't think you'd mesh with. and hang out and have a good time. I'm kind of like all over the place. I know I agree with Derrick as far as like the cliquish, but I'm kind of just me and go between everybody. And I just like I sell everything. I like everybody, and I'm like I can't go in a box. I can't.
I don't. I'm very particular, and I said this on our show last week. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was happy to get the opportunity to meet you because I'm sold to myself. I'm very, very closed off, and that's just me. That's just my personality. And with the opportunity to meet you at the Prison of Profit convention, it was dope. It was totally dope. So yeah, that was awesome.
I enjoyed it, especially since he put on I was not putting that thing on my head. Derrick put on a ski mask I found in the bins at Goodwill. I was like,
oh.
We was about to make some real profits, Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Larry bought us all pizza up in Cincinnati, guys. There's some amazing, amazing people in this community that are absolutely.
Yeah, Larry's also. I met him up in Cincinnati. Also, I actually went yard selling with him. So.
Yeah. Larry's a great guy. I've met a lot of good people at I met Tay, actually. I met Tay for the first time up in Cincinnati, Prison Profit. And so, yeah, you meet a lot of people at those things and that you might not have known. So I would definitely look into those things as well. And I know the Vintage, they had one in Springfield, Ohio, too. That's why I said there's like all these different little groups for like certain things that, you can find your people. I guarantee you, your people are out there. Here is Mr. Larry's Gino's Dolphin. Dun, 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 dun. Now Joe can see me when I'm dancing in the back. Patty, I'm going to go ahead and take this because we get asked this a lot and this is pretty common. So Patty said she got her first sale, but they wanted her to contact through email. She told them no, only to chat through eBay. So you did the right thing. They haven't paid. Now what? Now you wait. They're probably not going to pay. They were a scammer. But you did the right thing by not responding. And that will happen until you get about 30 or so feedback. That is pretty common. Just wait the 4 days until eBay will allow you to cancel it. You relist it and move on. You're doing everything right. There's no way to avoid them. They're going to be there and bug you. I suggest buying buy some Post-it notes, some pens to build up your feedback because they don't discern between buying and selling feedback. And I think that will help as well.
Make sure you block them, right?
Yeah. I'm a blocking fool. I like to block. It gives me like a little bit of satisfaction. Just a little bit. Katrina's giving a label tip. She said she prints 2 labels and keeps one attached to her inventory intake sheets, which is how she tracks her sales, so she can reference all the shipping info for use later. You are way more organized than me. That is all I will say.
For sure.
Pat Huff says, Kat, I think you said there's one platform not to try selling license plates on. Which one was that? That would be Facebook Marketplace, and that would be why I am banned from there now. Don't list them there. I still can't see, and it's so funny because people like message me stuff on Market. I can't even look at listings. I can't even look at them. And my mom sent me like a yard sale. I'm like, Mom, I'm banned. She's like, why? I'm like, you're the one that did it, Mom. You're like, she just kept posting and ignoring their warnings because she cross-posts for me. I'm like, Mom, you're the one who did it. Like, hello.
So you can't even click on the button? You can't click on the Facebook button no more?
No, listen. Watch, I'm going to show you. That's what it does. Like, hold on, I'm going to click on Marketplace.
The thumbs down button.
You get the thumbs down comes up.
The gray thumbs down.
Wow.
Like, it doesn't matter what. I can see. Oh, wait. I can't even see the first time I clicked it, let me see the listings. Now it won't even let me.
We're going to need to start a petition to Zuckerberg for that. Whoever handles that already.
Christopher, why are you sending me all of that money? I love you. MJ Jewelry Findings, $1.99 super chats. Any recommendation, a good mentor for me? So if you're asking as far as jewelry, one of the most knowledgeable people I have found in jewelry is Margaret, Texas Gal Treasures. I did a series of jewelry. Do any of you know, I don't think Jennifer Hayes has made a lot of videos. Do any of you know any good jewelry people if MJ's mainly doing jewelry?
That's open to doing mentoring and stuff like that. Not really. I know a lot of jewelry people, but you know, resellers are. We kind of get in our zone. It's really hard to. If you're doing one-on-one mentoring, it's really hard for a lot of people to do that.
I was thinking just like videos, though. At least, yeah. Like, do you know of any good channels with info on jewelry?
Let me get back to you. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Yeah. I haven't watched a bunch and a ton. Mike, do you know anybody?
I don't. I'm just getting into it myself, so I'd be interested to see what you guys come if there's a list somewhere.
I watch some auctions sometimes on here, and it's T Auctions for You and and
Donatella.
Yeah, they do a lot of jewelry, and just from them holding up pieces, there's a lot of people in their chat that will say, "Hey, you know, is that stone cold or whatever?" And they can, you know, by the color of it, they usually say, you know, identify what it is, you know, if it's turquoise or I don't know what other
and like with jewelry, the more I do, the more I learn. It's more in depth than most categories, especially with like marked, non-marked gemstones. So it really depends on what exactly you're wanting the mentoring for. Did you find it, Derrick?
Yeah, it's I Spy Queens.
Okay.
So I Spy is one word, and then Queens.
Perfect. All right, MJ, here is your dolphin, and then we will get Mr. Christopher coming in hot. What's Mr. Christopher saying? He had a lot going on, but wanted to stop by and show some support. Thank you so much. He is an amazing asset to the community. Great guy. Thank you so much, Christopher. I appreciate you. Here is your talk. That time I coughed on my own glasses. Okay. Listen,
leave it up on the screen.
I'm like so over being sick, it is not even funny. Like, I'm like living on cough drops and Alka-Seltzer, and I'm so over it. I'm glad I wasn't sick during Prison to Profit. Like, my husband was homesick, and I felt good for a week, and then about 3 days after I came back. So at least I got a little reprieve.
Right.
Not much. Let's see. Where? Hi, Jake. I see you there, Yakov.
What's up, Jake?
I am still. Hold on. I'm going to put something up.
Poor cat.
I haven't found anything yet. I'm trying. My voice and my throat just get mad the more I talk. So like my whatnot auctions and my lives on Tuesdays get like, my throat's like, no more. Somebody told me I should drink cinnamon schnapps. So that might make for an interesting Tuesday live and a whatnot sale.
Little fireball.
John Raver says some whiskey. There you go.
Oh, yeah, whiskey.
Okay, I might try it tomorrow at 11 a.m. Don't judge me.
Judgment-free zone.
Listen. Okay, so on my last whatnot, I'll tell myself because they're not recorded. Dalton came up to me, and him and Brooke, my 20-year-old that came in, they fight like they're 2 years apart, okay? She likes to give her brother crap, and it's like having two small children. And they were talking about like nipples and boobies, and she's like, you don't have boobies. And so Dalton came up during Whatnot and he said, Mom, say titties. And I'm like, I'm not searching titties on your kid's YouTube. But he meant kitties. But it was in my head because they had been arguing about, like, did he have boobies earlier? And so everybody on Whatnot hears me telling Dalton, no, I'm not searching these for you on on YouTube. But he meant kitty cats. So, like, my Whatnots can be entertaining.
You know what he meant.
Because they're live. You can't, like, hide it. And I'm inside the house. I don't, like, come out to the shed. We do our Whatnots in the kitchen. So there's the ladies. Yeah, if you guys missed it, I had a great time hanging out with them on their podcast. It aired on Friday, Let's Do Lunch podcast. There's Kevin. So go check out Let's Do Lunch podcast. Kevin is 1/3 of Trash to Cash. That's why he's in here talking all the trash. He's representing them tonight. I am still scrolling. You guys were talking a lot. Kevin, are you like... Kevin has multiple personalities in the chat. Like 1 minute he's Commonwealth Flipper. The next he's Commonwealth Picker. I don't know what he's going to be next. I have no clue. I'm still scrolling. There was a lot of chat. Oh, yeah, Chance. I guess I could have brought it, like, to Missouri and you could have brought it to Utah. If I knew that. I'm so scared about that thing. Listen, and I paid $800. So if it gets damaged, I'm out $800. Oof. And it sold for $2,200. But I box that sucker up like Fort Knox. All right. Lisa wants to know, is there a way to change the handling time on your items if you don't have a store? I'm still on the $250 a month.
Is there a way to change the handling time? Yeah, you should be able to. If you're thinking bulk change, yeah, you should be able to do that. I don't think store limits is required to be able to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. But yeah, like Derrick said, you should be able to just go to listings and highlight them all and then edit, edit, bulk edit, whatever it is, and then handling time. You should be able to do it.
Yeah, I think you have to do it through the Seller Hub page.
Seller Hub, yeah.
Yeah, and I think people told me you can't get the Seller Hub without a store. You don't have to have a store, so you should be able to get it and do it that way for sure. Local treasures, I think, and Derrick might know more than me. Derrick, I'm pretty sure you can do returns on Whatnot if it's like broken or completely different than what you were told.
Yeah. On Whatnot, it's already assumed that there's no returns on it. Just like if someone buys something, you can hold them accountable for that. You don't have to cancel it for them. And all returns are handled through Whatnot anyway. Now, although they have the chat now, it's still going to go through Whatnot. So they have to contact Whatnot. So that's a great thing about that platform with the return piece of it.
Sorry, I'm reading Kevin getting crap in the chat. It's amusing me. Pat is saying, when I list on eBay, they usually want me to start everything at 99 cents. I'm going to inject here that I'm assuming she means on auction. Yeah. If I know it's worth more, I don't want to start it low. I usually list it as buy it now. Am I wrong to do that?
Absolutely not. It's your business. You can list it at whatever you want to list it at. If you want to list it at 8,000, go ahead and list it at 8,000. Probably ain't gonna sell, but your business. Do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking strictly auctions, right? But I think some people do a lot of like 99-cent listing on auctions on eBay, and then they get mad if it only sells for 99 cents or whatever, $1.99 or whatever. But I think, like, I do eBay auctions a lot, and I start everything at whatever number I'm comfortable accepting. Like if it's $20, I'll start the bidding at $20, not $19.99. 1994 now.
Yeah, 94.
I'm the 94 guy. 1994, because then if I only get the one bid, I'm happy with that number. You know, whatever that number is for that item. But yeah, you can list it at whatever you want, Pat.
Yeah, I don't do many auctions on eBay, but when I do, I usually start it at the price that I feel comfortable with, and
Right.
you know, start it off. There are some times where I have to run it maybe once or twice, but you know, I rarely start anything at 99 cents.
Yeah, and eBay will compare to whatever the algorithm thinks your item is similar to, and a lot of times your item is not similar to that.
Right.
So do your own research as far as the pricing, what it should sell for. I would ignore all of eBay's suggestions, because that is a computer generated algorithm robot, not an actual person telling you what they should suggest that you look it at. Look, I listed at. Hold on. Kevin's like making the chat searching pretty hard for me here. He's got everybody all riled up in the chat. So I'm having, oh wait, here, I found a question. What's the easiest item, easy listing, fast selling, great profit you've ever sold? And what's an item you sold, but it was more trouble than it was worth and you would never sell it again?
Easiest was a graded Pokemon card, graded Charizard, one of the easiest items to ship, list, right? And the hardest, oh my God, it was a snowblower. It was a, it was a Snow Joe snowblower. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was hell. And I misweighed it, and it was considered overweight from FedEx, and I ended up paying people to buy this item.
Like you lost money on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, I'll pay you. Please take my item. I've done that on a few too.
Take this out of here. I don't know. I had an ashtray one time, like it's crazy Disney ashtray that was like only in their one hotel out in California or something, that I had no idea. It ended up, I mean, it was just a couple pictures, like maybe 4 or 5. I mean, how many pictures of an ashtray can you take, right? You know, front, back, side. And it sold for crazy money. I was like, wow. I mean, I'll probably never ever find one again, but I bought this big ashtray lot. And what's something you sold, but you more trouble than it was worth and you would never sell? I don't know. I don't know. I've run into that a lot with different things, but I don't know if I'd never sell, because the circumstances behind like what you buy it for, how much you pay for it determines that for me a lot. Like I know there's certain things that are a pain in the butt, like to sell, or, I don't know, like anything electronics, because even if it works, like there's a lot of people that will just take off the part they need and say it doesn't work and send it back and stuff. But it doesn't stop me from making, trying to sell electronics. And some of them are big and bulky things and they take a long time to ship and you got to make a special box and all that. But I would still do it again. I mean, it is time consuming. So I try to look for the higher end stuff, but I would still do it.
I'd say for me, the easiest is I bought a huge lot of DVDs that I did very well with. I mean, I bought DVDs for $25, and they were so I scanned the barcode, and they were so easy to look up. They were easy to store, and they go in a bubble mailer. So I would say anything like, DVDs, video games, things like that are easy to look up. Can't really think of something that I wouldn't do again. I don't know. Vintage electronics, like Mike said, it takes a lot to, there's a lot of beforehand work of testing it, making sure it works and things like that I don't like doing. So yeah, I'd have to say that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Joe and say the lot items, like my Harley pins, my license plates, like you might not think of each little one as great profit, but like I paid $600 for 600 Harley pins. I will make well over $5,000 profit from them. I already have, and I still have a bunch left. And those are pins. So if you think Mike's ashtray is easy, think about a pen. It's the front and the back, and that's it.
Right.
License plates, the same thing, front and back. Throw it in an envelope, super easy. Got 1,000 of them for $1,000, and some have sold as high as 100. So that's going to be another one well over 5,000 profit. So for me, it's not about like the big ones. I like the lots. I like getting hundreds of something, super easy to list. You're in the profit fast, and then it can sit here for years, and it's making me profit for years and years as those slower ones sell. I think the only thing more trouble than it was worth, I don't know that I would never sell it again, though. I sold a wheelchair, and that sucker, you want to talk about having to make a box for something? It took 3 big, giant Amazon boxes. I didn't take it apart because I thought that would be harder than building a box, but I would only get high-end ones. And, like, the people were thrilled. I know that's kind of iffy with some people as far as reselling the medical equipment. But, like, if they would have bought it at the store, it would have been $1,500, and I sold it to them for $5. So they were happy as pie. I got them a good deal, so I'm okay with that. But it would probably have to be one worth about $500 or more. I would not do that again. Oh, I like that. Wants to know, do you promote on everything?
As that commercial says, I put that on everything. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. I promote everything.
Yep.
So do I. I promote everything.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I promote everything. I was reading Kevin's comment saying that he can grow a beard, in fact. He says he thinks. He hasn't ever tried. So he's not really sure. He thinks.
Well, the challenge is still out there. Kevin.
Challenge is on.
I want the picture.
Mike will cut Joe's beard if you grow a beard.
That's it.
Is there a way to get the... I'm going to show you. So on mine, because I have an Android, Lisa. So on mine, up top here, it says 1-to-1. This is on an Android phone. And that produces a square. Now you look at my cool artwork behind my camera. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so it's 1-to-1 on my Android is what it says. But it depends on if you have a newer phone or not. Does anybody else have Android that's set up a different way?
No, I have an iPhone.
I have an iPhone.
So I'm your only hope. So, but I know not all Androids do it like that. Yes. Okay. So if you guys watch the Let's Do Lunch, I'm going to give you guys an update because my mom interrupted just like my 20-year-old while I was live on Let's Do Lunch. My mom walked in the shed and they said they wanted me to update them. So I am working with my mom to give my mom my truck. I talked about it on the Let's Do Lunch podcast, and they're like, Kat, how much did you weigh? Because my mom wants I have an extra truck right now, a really nice extra truck that's jacked up that my mom has to climb on a milk crate to get in. Listen, my mom drove out, and I'm like, and she has to put the milk crate to get in. Anyways, I'm letting my mom take the truck. So that's your update as far as the truck. If you want to see the whole story about how I ended up with 2 trucks, go watch the Let's Do Lunch podcast because I talked about how I ended up having 2 trucks instead of 1 truck. And yeah, so my mom, I'll have to take a picture of my mom climbing on the milk crate to get in this jacked up truck when she drives it off. She's going to get it next week. All right. This is a question for Joe. What do you think about the new fee changes eBay has made to athletic shoes between $100 and $150? And have you had any issues getting those shoes authenticated?
Tell them, Joe.
I'll start at the end of your question. The authentication process, I've had to do it several times, and it's got to be. I've probably had a problem with it every time. Not that they would be authenticated. The process took a long time to get it when they first started doing it. There was a couple pairs of shoes that I sent in, my normal shipping time, and I was getting questions from buyers that this was taking too long. Where's it at? I need them by a certain date. I'm going on vacation. These were a gift. all kinds of things. That was in the beginning of it. Which I guess they worked that out. It doesn't take as long anymore. And then my last problem I had with them, it was a pair of Reebok pumps, sneakers. They were new in the box, everything else, but I did not disclose that the box had some sort of damage on it. So they were denied authentication because of the damage on the box. After battling with them, I mean, they just send them back to you. They actually overnight them back to you, you know, and I got them back, talked to eBay. They said they can't do anything about it. I just relisted them with defects and put in the description, you know, I had to send them back to get authenticated. They sold a couple days later, and they sold. So they were the problems that I have in the beginning. It was the lead time that it took. And then now it was like, so I'm really picky if I'm listing a brand new pair of shoes or anything else like that with the box. I disclose everything about the box, everything like that. It seems to be a pain in the neck, but sometimes, you know, it's worth it, you know, if you're making enough money on the sneaker. The fees, I'm not sure about the fees. I know they stopped doing that promotion to compete with, you know, what are they, the other sneaker apps like that. They were charging no fees over $100, you know, for new sneakers, but I guess they went back on that, you know, a few months ago. So I still sell them. You know, I sent a pair out to be authenticated and, you know, a few weeks ago, and that was fine.
Perfect. Pokemon Dennis wants to know, do we write handwritten notes in all of our orders? And start to hurt.
No. I don't. Around the holiday time when you have a store on eBay, you get a little eBay budget. So I get some of those little cards, little postcards, and I just drop them. I drop them right in the package that says thanks. And that's only around the holiday time, and then that's it.
Yeah, I have the business card. I don't have one handy here to show you right this second, but I get them from I can't think of the website now. Vistaprint, yeah, Vistaprint, and it just says thanks for your purchase, and it has, you know, the store name and graphic and stuff like that. But yeah, I couldn't handwrite everything.
Yeah, I just use a business card I made up. It just pretty much, you know, says thank you for your purchase, and on the flip side of it, it actually does have my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel, you know, on the back of it. So I just put one of them in there. I don't even write anything on it. It's real easy.
I do not. I try to remember to throw my nurse flipper sticker in if it's viewer sales or for my whatnot sales. I have written thank you on 3 things like all year. So if you got one of those, feel very, very special. I see my friend Tay is in the house. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you.
Big homie Tay.
He said he's only coming in for Derrick, though, so I don't know if I should be offended by that or not.
No, take that.
I love Tay. It's okay. But I gotta give him some crap because he gives me crap, so it's okay. There's like extra chat tonight, and I'm okay with that. I'm having to scroll and scroll and scroll. I'm still scrolling. Reading about Alf now, so you know where I'm at in the chat. Deborah wants to know, this is a good question. Does anyone else use the RN number to find out if clothing is vintage?
I don't sell clothing like that, so I wouldn't be able to answer it.
I do not.
There are some times where I look up if I can't find that exact piece, you know, if I'm looking up something, but I usually don't sell too much vintage clothes to use it.
Yeah, and I will. And that's a good thing to search sometimes on some of the t-shirts and jeans, because you can find comps searching the RN number if other people put it in. Yeah. So I do it sometimes. I don't know what I'm going down the banning list. Yeah. the longer I'm on, the less crap I give. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just doing whatever I do, and it is what it is. I need to try some. I'm eating more of my sugar candy cough drops that aren't really cough drops. That's why I keep coughing still. Maybe if I got real cough drops that weren't candy ones, then
They would work.
they would actually work.
Yeah, but they won't taste good, so you won't eat them.
I know, right? And then I'll be like, yeah. I'm scrolling. There's a lot of scrolling. I'm almost caught up, but I'm not seeing questions. So if you have questions, put them back in because it's 10 o'clock. So I guess, I found one. Here's our last one. But Julian's not here. Does anybody else do golf clubs?
Yeah.
I have 8 to 10 used golf clubs, a few different companies. Would lotting them up in a buy it now be a good idea?
Since they're different companies, I would say no, unless it's a junk lot. If they're name brand, they'll be worth listing individually.
Right, I would agree because most people have the same brand of like irons. All the irons are the same brand. The driver might be a different brand, but the irons are usually the same. The putter might be different. So if they're all different that you have 8 to 10 of them, unless they're junk ones, right? I would list them separately. Yes.
Yeah, I would agree. There actually is, trying to think of the company. NC Flipper said it on that Trash to Cash podcast about there's a company out there that will actually buy your golf clubs if you send them a picture of it. They actually send you a shipping label, and then you send them in. Of course, you won't get the eBay prices for it, but if you just want to get rid of them because it's a headache, or whatever, you might be able to sell them to them. Now they're particular on what brand and how new they are. But I'm trying to think of it. I did Google it after he said it, but maybe somebody in the chat heard it, or Kevin knows if he's still around.
Another third of Trash to Cash is now in as we're getting ready to close out. Carry over at American Arbitrage.
Maybe Carrie remembers
the name of it.
The name
All
of
right,
the company
last question. I'd flip that. I don't know if this has been talked about already, but have sales been, and this question has not been asked tonight, have sales been slow for you? They're saying they went to Boss Reseller Remix for a week and came home sick with COVID for a week, which equaled slow sales, so I'm really sorry to hear about all of the COVID that everybody got there. Sorry to all you guys. It sucks, but so have sales been slow?
Sales have picked back up. I think the last couple of months, I wouldn't even say it was slow. It just mellowed out a little bit, but the last couple of months it's picked back up, kind of back to normal business.
I would say for me it's slow, but there's days where it's like real busy. It's weird. It's like there'll be a spike and then it's slow again for a while. But that's just me. Maybe it's just the items that I sell. But I would say overall it's slow for me.
I would say mine have slowed down, but I haven't been doing my part either. With the Phillies being, in the World Series and everything, I've been watching Phillies games and, things that I don't normally do. So I haven't been listening as much as I should. So I think that's why my sales are down. But, with no games on the rest of the week, I figured I'll get some listing done.
So I have not been doing my part on eBay for about a month since I started Whatnot, and mine are actually up. So I've done 6,200 the last week, 17,000 last month, which is up 23%. I don't know how. I'm not going to lie. I have not been doing my part. I've just gotten lucky that a couple of really high dollar items that have been listed for years have sold and are carrying me. Besides those big ones, I would be lower. So I'm going to try and get back on. I've been saying that for weeks. I'm going to keep trying. That's all we can do is balance it the best we can. But yeah. So I'm going to let these 3 gentlemen tell you guys tell you about if they're dropping videos, what lives. And I know Two of them have other channels, so they can tell you guys about those as well. And then I will tell you guys who will be on with us next week. So here is Mr. Derrick.
So thank y'all again for hanging out. Appreciate it. My name is Derrick. Once again, Fundmentals on YouTube and Instagram. We do have a show we do tomorrow night it's on Regina Michelle's channel called Hump Day Hangout. We've been rocking it for over 2 years now. We have a great guest on tomorrow, Pallet Jackin. So I look forward to that. And if you guys are interested in anything outside of the reselling world, my second channel, it is called Lions Curb Refresh, the name of the company. And we do, once again, pressure washing, curb painting. I normally drop one video a week over there. On my fundamentals channel, it's random as heck. I randomly drop a video on there. It's more so for the live show. And I do live show on Friday night. If you're not easily offended, it's very cut and unfiltered, my Friday night show. So just beware if you do jump in there. Very uncut. We talk about a little bit of everything except politics.
Perfect. Here is Mike.
Hey, thanks again, Kat, for having me on. And thanks to everyone in the chat that stopped by. Really great questions tonight. I'm Mike, the January House. I have my main channel, January House, where my pre-recorded content is. And I also have an auction channel, if you're into that, live every Sunday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern on the January Auction House. And thanks again.
All right, here's Joe.
Thanks again, everybody, for coming out and hanging out for a couple hours. Kat, I appreciate you having us on again. Thanks for my promotion to co-host. Once again, I go by Philly Picker on Instagram and YouTube. My YouTube channel right now is mostly consistent of YouTube shorts, so stop over there and check them out. Thanks again, and thanks for the questions. I had a really good time.
Perfect. And I have a second channel too now, if you do not know, Catch Treasure Hunting, where I'm thrifting one video a week. I actually did a yard sale last week, and I think I'm going to start doing some yard sales because that was fun, even though I brought home way too much stuff. I had 3 thrift boxes. Next week, Julian is back, unless he decides to live in the mountains. I don't know. He's supposed to be back next week. And Yvonne Thrifty Rich, along with the Thrifting Twins. So I've never had them on before, and a few of you recommended I have them on. So the Thrifting Twins will be on as well. And I am doing a show on Whatnot tomorrow at 11 a.m. I am not doing Wednesday videos anymore. My next video will be on Friday, all high dollar what sold, to show you guys what has brought me this insane week. I will show you that on Friday. And I appreciate you all coming. We will see you next Tuesday. Definitely check these guys out. All 3 of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. Bye, guys, for now.
Bye.